Good morning, everybody. How you doing? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, and I'm in Los Angeles right now. I'm working on a movie project, and of course, like everybody else, like the rest of the world, I've been following all this stuff that's been happening out in Dallas and across the country as it pertains to the police killings of black men, as well as the unfortunate tragedy that took place with the brother Micah Johnson, Micah Xavier Johnson, who who took the law in his own hands. He seemed like a young brother who felt that the police were not serving and protecting his community, and so he felt compelled to serve and protect his community on his own. Now, I think that this is a conversation worth having because I think that when you talk about all of this, one of the things that I'm really not interested in is a very simple-minded conversation. Like I had a big argument. Damon Dash and I, we teach a class together, Intelligent Boss Moves, and he and I were debating the issue, and he just, we were kind of yelling back and forth a lot in the studio, basically he was saying, violence is never the answer. Violence is never the answer. And I wasn't saying that violence is the answer in this particular case. I think that, I don't think anybody has to necessarily define what they believe the truth to be. But I said, well, if you look at history, there have been many examples where violence was the answer, where violence was the only answer, where you were put in a situation where you had no choice but to, respond in kind to what was being done to you. You had no choice. I mean, sometimes you don't go looking for a fight. Sometimes the fight comes looking for you. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Micah Johnson, the 25-year-old young black man who squeezed that trigger that day on them Dallas cops, I'm not going to say that he was automatically justified one way or the other. In fact, if I did say too much of that, believe me, the FBI would be trying to deal with me too. But they probably already are. Yesterday, I had a conversation with the brother who was falsely accused of being the shooter. He was the brother of the man who was falsely accused. The guy that was falsely accused, his name was Mark Hughes, and I spoke to his brother Corey yesterday. And Corey and I talked for about maybe 30 minutes, and Corey said that, since all that went down, since they falsely put his brother's face up on national TV as the face of terrorism, basically their life has been in jeopardy. They've been in danger. They're literally running from place to place. They're doing what they can to avoid all the crazy white folks down there that want to kill them. Their family's in danger. Corey says that he received a text message from somebody who put a Google Maps image of him, of his house, where it was a map, saying basically showing where he could get to his house, and he said, "I'm coming to see you." And what was interesting about this, and here's what's interesting. I'll talk more about Micah X in a minute. Micah Xavier Johnson. That's his brother's name. What was interesting about all of this was that Corey went out of his way. Corey, who organized this peaceful protest, who was actually helping the police to guide traffic, to get people to shelter, etc. After the shooting took place, Corey said they treated me like a criminal. They treated me and my brother like they put me and my brother in handcuffs. He said that I want to say, let me make sure I say this right. I think his brother was in handcuffs, and I think he was too, but maybe it was just his brother. But either way, he said that when I came in there, and we're trying to be helpful, we're trying to, tell the police what we know and hand over our weapon. Because I made my brother hand over his gun. And he said my brother didn't want to hand over his gun, but he said I made my brother hand over his gun because I didn't want my brother to get shot. He said that when they did that, the police started treating he and his brother like criminals. They started asking him, "So why'd you shoot him? We got," and lying, saying stuff like, "Oh, well, we got video of you shooting," and he said, "I know you ain't got no video because we ain't shoot nobody." And interrogated them, took their possessions, robbed them of their possessions, and have not given them back. And you wonder why people don't like the cops. I mean, literally, what's really ironic about all of this is that the behavior of the police after the shooting took place, the way they responded to a clearly innocent black man who was trying to be helpful to them, was basically to treat him like a criminal too. And so if anybody doesn't understand why don't nobody like the damn police, why the police have such a bad rap across the country, just look at that example. Look at how they treat innocent black people. And so you get mad, you wonder, you really think it's baffling that there might be somebody out here that wants to hurt an innocent cop. Well, why is it that there are so many cops that want to hurt an innocent black man? You know, I mean, because let's just be real. Let's really talk about this. Let's have a real conversation about, you know, just all of this. Look, why is it, I really need y'all to help me with this. Why is it that when innocent black men, when scores of innocent black men are killed by the police, it's business as usual. It's not a big deal. But then when one black man kills a few police officers, it suddenly becomes this national tragedy. It suddenly becomes this, you know, this massive, you know, horrific situation that we have to get under control, you know, no matter what it takes. I don't understand that, because if you believe that Black Lives Matter, if you truly believe that black people's lives are worth the same as white people's lives, the same as police officers' lives, then you would treat all the tragedies the same. We know that these cops who were accused of killing these black men, we know that that there was misconduct going on in many of these situations, not just Alton Sterling, not just Philando Castile. I'm talking about all the other dozens and dozens and dozens of other police killings across the country. You know there's misconduct. But yet, when an innocent black man is killed, you're just sort of like, well, that's just par for the course. You know, you act like our lives that aren't worth fighting for. But I bet you this. But here you go. Here's another example. But when you took a couple of lives of police officers, oh, they was ready to kill in a minute. They was ready. They blew that brother up. They blew him up with a robot. They murdered him on the spot. They were judge, jury, and executioner all in one fell swoop. So when somebody hurts you, it's all out. Oh, we got to kill this motherfucker because he hurt a cop, right? But when you kill us, we're supposed to march and pray and sing "We Shall Overcome." That's insane. That's ridiculous. That's a very clear and blatant double standard. I mean, let's just be real. That is a clear, blatant double standard. Let's dig into that. Let's talk about that a little bit. Another way the cops showed their ass, another way the cops made themselves look as guilty as people think that they are, was not just how they treated Corey and Mark Hughes. That they treated these innocent brothers like criminals. They took their stuff, haven't given it back. They refused to go and help them obtain safety. So they refused to serve and protect them. They have not offered them any police protection. They have not gone in the media to say that this brother didn't do it. They refused to do that. They haven't done any of that. None of that. So you think we're supposed to believe you serve and protect us? You don't serve and protect us. You serve and protect white people. You serve and protect rich people. You serve and protect yourselves. You don't serve and protect black men, because if you did, you would be protecting Mark and Corey Hughes. Let's go deeper than that. Let's talk about this brother Micah Johnson. I'm not going to condemn this black man. I'm not going to do it. I don't care what I don't know how anybody else feels. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I don't know if I'm supposed to say, well, you know, we don't condone violence, and violence is never the answer. And this man was a monster. I'm not going to say all of that. I'm going to say that he was a pissed off brother. I'm going to say that he reminds me a little bit of myself at the age of 25. Not that I actually would have done what he did, because it takes a lot of guts to fight back like that. But I can tell you what, everybody that knows this man, everybody that knows this brother, everybody that knew him, all his neighbors, said he was a good person. He was a good kid. He cared about his community. So think about this. Now, when he was ready to kill for the United States government, when he was ready to go kill and pull that weapon out to go kill on behalf of the United States government and to serve his country, y'all were cool with that. That was fine. He was a hero at that point. But when he was ready to kill to serve and protect his community, you suddenly called him a lunatic, right? Now, maybe in your mind, maybe to you, he is a lunatic. I mean, shoot, if I'm a cop, yeah, absolutely, I'm gonna be scared of this guy. Okay, but you can't sort of hula hoop your way out of the logic that clearly states that he is a hero when he's killing for you, but he becomes the villain when he's killing for us. This brother did this for us. When he was out there with the gun, he was like, I'm tired of y'all killing my people. An eye for an eye. It looked straight up like this. He never would have done that if so many black men had not been killed. So why is that any different from a soldier who's at Iraq somewhere, who goes and kills because you kill some of his fellow soldiers? Because when you kill another young black man, to a lot of other young black men, you killing a fellow soldier. This man was the same age. When Micah got killed, he was the same age that Tupac Shakur was when he died. The exact same age, 25 years old. And I remember 25 is an interesting age. That's exactly when I started getting pissed off. And I started doing things in response to my environment. That's when I started feeling angry. Like, how are they going to treat us like this? How are they doing this to us? This is crazy to me. So I know that age of 25. I know something about how he felt. I would not be surprised if there was a connection. I wouldn't be surprised if I met him and he said, Dr. Boyce, like all the other brothers I see around the country. Like I see so many brothers around the country who are like, Dr. Boyce, thank you for teaching us. I love you, Dr. Boyce. So and I bet you anything that if I talked to this brother, we would have that same conversation. I bet you he would know a lot about some of the things that we talk about here. And so I'm not on any level ever going to condemn him in the way I would if I was some white man on TV. I'm not going to do that. Now, am I going to say that we should all pick up guns and go start killing people? I don't think that's the answer right now. I don't think that's the answer at any point. But I do think that what can be done is those of you, the mainstream Negroes with jobs, you can point to that and say, you see what will happen if you continue to mess with these young black men. We can help you. We can talk them down. But if you don't change your behavior, then we can't talk them down. Just like Martin and Malcolm could work with each other. Martin could say, look, hey, the Black Panthers are out here. Malcolm X is out here. and I can try to talk them down. But if you don't change your behavior, then we're going to have a problem. So you better deal with me or you're going to have to deal with that. And you don't want to keep dealing with that because everybody's going to lose if we deal with that. So look. What's interesting to me about a lot of this is that, you saw just 1 month ago, you saw a story in the media where all of white America lost their damn mind because a gorilla got shot in a zoo. They went crazy. You would have really thought this gorilla was the president of the United States the way people acted out when this gorilla got shot. Black men are getting shot every single day. The day before Alton Sterling was killed, I talked about another brother up in New York who was killed by a cop in a road rage incident. Happens every day, all the time. And you really don't see any outrage from the collective of white America. You don't see that at all. And so, while I certainly have seen examples, though, of white people who stand with us, I don't see the masses of white people standing with us. I don't see white institutions standing with us. I see us in a situation where sometimes, for some of us, they feel like all we got is Michael Johnson. All we got is somebody that's willing to go out here and fight on behalf of us. And it's not, don't act like, when you talk about America, don't act like y'all don't understand violence. Don't act like y'all don't understand retaliation. America is one of the most violent countries in the world. That's why, and Minister Farrakhan brought this up when we had a conversation a couple years ago. We have more guns in this country than people. We have more guns than people in this country, especially in a place like Texas. In Texas, everybody got a gun. Little kids got guns. And so don't act like you don't understand this violence. I just don't want it to continue. I don't think violence is a fun thing for anybody to endure. But understand this, like Minister Farrakhan talks about, it's about sometimes you got to distribute the pain a little bit. Sometimes other people got to know what you're going through. Do you know how many mothers have called me or emailed me and said they've been crying all day after seeing Alton Sterling murdered in cold blood on TV? Do you know how many mothers were telling me they were crying after seeing the brother Philando Castile get shot and killed in front of his girlfriend? The other brother in New York, his last name was Smalls. He was shot and killed in front of his children. His children, his girlfriend, and he didn't have a weapon. It was a road rage incident. The cop was mad because he didn't like his driving. That's what happened in New York. So, you know, the pain that other people might feel from what they just had to witness is a pain that black people deal with every day. It's something that mothers are dealing with every day on the south side of Chicago, where the police and politicians allow weapons into these neighborhoods that have no business being there. And don't pretend like you can't control it, because you don't let those weapons into the north side of Chicago where the rich white people live. You go to the north side of Chicago where rich white people live, it's like fucking Disneyland. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's safe, it's prosperous. You go to the south side of Chicago, some pockets, not the whole south side, but some pockets of it, clearly show the symptoms of an abandoned and neglected community. And when you got little 12, 13-year-olds running around with assault weapons, it's because some grown-up allowed this thing to happen. When they got cocaine in their pocket, they ain't going that cocaine down in the hood. That cocaine is coming from people outside of that community. So ultimately, a lot of even the black-on-black crime, which I do believe black-on-black crime is real. I believe it exists. I don't like that conversation where we got to somehow act like it's not real in order to make our point. I think we can acknowledge the reality of black-on-black crime while also acknowledging the reality of white supremacy and its role in the creation of black-on-black crime. That's where it comes from. White supremacy creates all of this nonsense. It's ridiculous. So, let me tell you more about the conversation I had with Corey Hughes. You know, and before I forget, if you haven't done it yet, you can get a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, A New Paradigm for Black America. You can go to drboycewatkins.net. So write this down, drboycewatkins.net, and you get a free e-copy. You just sign up, you get an e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, A New Paradigm for Black America. I think it's important that as we go through this, that we learn and we think. And I'm giving the book away because I want you to read it. It's very short, it doesn't take long to read, but it's a very simple set of ideas. And what it's built on is this idea of what we can do as a community to become stronger and more fortified. Because you cannot disconnect what's been happening with where we stand economically in this country. Because where you stand economically impacts directly where you stand politically. And where you stand politically impacts directly how you can deal with these institutions like the police or like, you know, the federal government, etc. So in fact, to talk about political power and where it plays a role, you see these celebrities, you see these black celebrities who are chiming in, or using their weight to say things. Shonda Rhimes stepped up and supported Jesse Williams after his BET speech. Well, it would be tougher for her to do that if she wasn't rich and powerful, right? And she rose up the institution at ABC. You know, God bless her for that. So at the end of the day, we have to connect those two. We can't sort of think that one doesn't have anything to do with the other. And also, I talked to Tariq Nasheed, who made Hidden Colors today. If you want to order the Hidden Colors set, go to hiddencolors1234.com. That's hiddencolors1234.com. I think that Hidden Colors is really, I mean, if you're ready to watch a film, that will help you reflect on your blackness, Hidden Colors is a great place to start. What's happened this week, in the last week and a half, is a lot of black people have become very, very black. And what I don't want is I don't want people to be black this week and to become non-black next week. I want everybody to stay black. I want you to be black now and forever. And so ultimately, you want to do things in your household and your culture that really reinforces your pride in being black, that reinforces the importance of really critically thinking about where your community is and how your community can get to where it wants to be, that will push you and incentivize you to support initiatives that will make your community stronger. Because if we're not on board with this, you know, then we don't have a force. And understand this, the reason the police are able to go around here and just kill people and do whatever they want is because they are a force. They have a code. They have a commitment to each other. They're connected. They have the blue wall, right? So we need the black wall. We need black people that will support each other, not to the point where we support criminality. I don't believe that. I don't believe that we should support people who are doing the wrong things. But at the same time, we need a black wall where people know that we are a connected community that cares about each other. And we're not going to have coons on TV, or we're not going to allow coons on TV who are going to justify every horrible thing that the police do to us. Because that's one of the things that hurts us. You go to Fox News, you got guys like Juan Williams who get out there and say any old kind of thing because he's trying to get that paycheck. Well, people have to be ready to shut him down. And the way you shut people like that down is you develop black-owned media outlets that can sort of fight back against that noise. So that's why people like Roland Martin are so important. That's why maybe the stuff that we do here at Your Black World is very important. But also other outlets have to be supported as well. So I can't count things like BET because BET is owned by white people. So I don't think BET. I think BET is only allowed to get but so radical when it comes to black people. I fully expect that at some point, like for example, they could probably never say anything honest about the Jewish community. BET probably couldn't say anything honest about Jews because Sumner Redstone, who's the largest shareholder in Viacom, the company that owns BET, from what I understand, he's Jewish. So ultimately, you know, there are only so many things that mainstream outlets can do, but we have the ability to develop grassroots outlets. So when you support a guy like Tariq Nasheed, who made what I consider to be the biggest blackbuster, not blockbuster, blackbuster film that I've seen in my lifetime, what you're doing is you're supporting his ability to flip that into a complete media outlet. And you know that Tariq is very, you know, he's complex. He's got his good and his bad and everything else, or things you may not agree with, but he's an empire builder. He's a builder. He's not somebody that's looking to go and connect himself to some big institution and become co-opted by somebody else. So go support him if you want to. You can buy the whole Hidden Colors set. Go to hiddencolors1234.com. Just write in the numbers. Or if you just want part 4, I'm actually in part 4 too. So that's another reason that you might enjoy it. I don't know. But Jim Brown's in it. Killer Mike is in it. A lot of really interesting people are in it. Go to hiddencolorsbundlepack.com. hiddencolorsbundlepack.com, because not only do you get the film, but you get a lot of educational materials to go with it, because I believe that everything needs to be an education. It doesn't just need to be entertainment. You should be watching these things to learn. And also, when you have that Hidden Colors set in your house on the mantle, what it does is it says to your kids, okay, this is my Encyclopedia Britannica. This is a part of my collection of information that will make me an empowered black person in this country. Black people must, absolutely, positively, without question, co-opt the whole educational system for their children. We must co-opt the entire educational process. We must co-opt as much of the economic process as possible, because the educational system and the economic system are the two ways that people are either occupied or brainwashed. So ultimately, you have to be able to protect yourself by making sure you control the mind space of your child from a very early age. Now, let me dig a little bit deeper into what happened with this brother, Micah Xavier Johnson, the 25-year-old brother who allegedly shot down the Dallas police officers, according to the police. But the police are liars, so you don't know what's what until you, even when you think you know, you really don't know. So we don't know exactly what he did or exactly what happened. But you know what? We're never going to know exactly what happened, because he won't get to speak for himself. And the reason he won't get to speak for himself is because they put a little robot near him and blew him up. They murdered him. They gave him the death penalty before they actually de-escalated the situation and brought him down. Now, here's what's interesting about that. Dylan Roof, y'all remember Dylan Roof? Dylan Roof went down there to South Carolina, walked up in a church and shot up everybody in the church. Murdered a whole bunch of black people. Killed more people that day than Micah Johnson did. I don't know exactly how many officers Micah killed. The numbers seem to be changing, but I'm going to double check. But I don't think, according to my recollection, that Micah killed more people than Dylan Roof. The difference? Micah killed cops. Dylan killed black people. That's it. Black lives don't matter. If Dylan had killed cops, they would have dealt with him differently. If Micah had killed black people, seriously, think about this. Imagine if Micah X had gone into the hood and said, "I'm gonna shoot five niggas today." You see my French? I'm on a mission. Let's say he was a dope dealer, and he went in there and shot up 5 black men and murdered them in cold blood. Do you think that when police had him surrounded, that they would have went in there with a robot and blew him up and murdered him before he ever had a chance to have a fair trial? Or do you think that they would have had some situation where they probably could have captured him, brought him in, and put him in front of a jury of his peers? Think about this. So with this brother this brother Micah, he doesn't even get a trial. They clearly violated his human rights. They clearly violated, all other kinds of rights. And what's interesting to me is that, these cops who are running around saying, like, why are y'all so mad at us? Why do you have an issue with the police? Right? These same cops literally did almost every single thing to black men that day that completely explains and justifies the national irritation that people have toward the police. You went in there. I mean, people are mad at you for acting like a cop. And what's the first thing you do? You act like a cop. Yeah, I mean, really. The first two black men who come in there to try to help you, Corey and Mark Hughes, Corey and Mark show up. They're like, hey, here's my gun. I ain't got nothing to do with this. Let me help you. Let me support you. Let me give you information. Let me guide traffic. Let me be as helpful as I can be, because this is not anti-police. That's how forgiving black people are. You can shoot up all of us and we're still like, we forgive you. We love you, Massa. Please don't. No, I'm playing. I don't think Corey's a Massa type person, so I'm not disparaging Corey. But what I'm saying is that we are some of the most forgiving people in the world, right? And what do? You treat them like a nigga. You take him to the police station, you interrogate him like he's a criminal, you take all his property, you put him in handcuffs, you refuse to exonerate and clear his name, you refuse to give him police protection, you refuse to compensate him for the inconvenience. You don't give a damn if one of your cowboy friends shows up on his front porch and blows his whole family away. You don't care. You don't care, but yet you're supposed to expect me to feel sympathy when some of your fellow officers get shot down. Now you're talking to, I'm the son of a cop. I'm the son of a cop. If anybody can point out examples of cops doing heroic things that are good for the world, it might be me. I watch my father go to work every day. I admire that man. But this has got to stop. This is insane. This is insanity. And then what do you do to the next black man you encounter? The next black man, the brother who squeezed the trigger on your ass, the brother who said an eye for an eye. Now, mind you, the guy who was known in his community as a very good person, a very good kid, you get him surrounded. You don't de-escalate the situation. He's not a threat. He's cornered now. He can't hurt nobody. You could have easily roll in with the SWAT team or do whatever you got to do. But no, what do? You send a robot into his space and you blow him up, which is the first robot ever used to kill a person on American soil. That has never happened anywhere. We have never ever had an American dealt with and killed the way you would deal with a terrorist. I mean, somebody point out an example. Somebody please give me an example of any situation like this where the person wasn't posing an immediate threat and the police just have the authority to go in there and just blow him up and end his life. I mean, where he had no more rights anymore. Think about that. I mean, what you're basically saying, and see, the Constitution theoretically is supposed to say that everybody has rights, even those who've been accused of a crime. Right? That even no matter what you did or allegedly did, you have certain rights. That's why they got to read you your rights. That your lawyers have to protect your rights. All of that. But what you basically said was he had no rights. We're literally going to take all those rights away because we're so pissed off that you hurt a police officer. Is this right? Is this a conversation about right and wrong? I don't think it is. I mean, I think it's a conversation about reality. I think it's a conversation in which we have to really take our time and really look at exactly what we're dealing with, who we're dealing with. Look at the way they behaved. Everything they did in their behavior after the shooting took place clearly explains and justifies every piece of disdain people have for the police. In order for police departments to do a better job, in order for them to truly serve and protect, this entire system has to be eliminated and undermined and destroyed so that it can be rebuilt in the right form. Now, should it be destroyed with violence? I hope not. I don't want to destroy it with violence. I don't want there to have to be more Micah Johnsons out here. I don't want there to be more. But, at the end of the day, somebody has to do something. I saw President Obama said something about it. He mentioned that, police have to stop killing black men. I'm glad he said that. I don't know what else he said. I'm sure he followed that with some other comments about, our heroic police officers and boys in blue, blah, blah, blah. Because he has to say these things, right? He has to say these things because these politicians are in bed with the police and they're scared of the police. They're scared of police officers, Secret Service agents, all those people, the FBI, CIA. They're scared of these politicians are afraid of them. I bet Obama is afraid of the CIA because these organizations, these cops got to get a mind of their own. If you look out throughout the history of the world, you've seen situations where political leaders became afraid of their military because your military is like this attack dog that you got under control. But once they decide to get a mind of their own, they decide they don't like you no more, they can take you out. Right? So ultimately, they have this fear. They have this constant fear of the police. Because when Obama goes to Dallas, now think about this. If Obama goes to Dallas, he's dependent on the Dallas police to coordinate and to protect him. And Dallas is also a city where the Dallas police allowed another president to be killed. right? So you're talking about a general, very systematic, very continuous, traditional level of corruption right there within the Dallas Police Department. So if I'm Obama, I don't even go to Dallas. I don't know where he's at right now. I don't know where he's at right now. But if anybody, please tell me. If you're on Facebook, I want you to let me know if Obama has gone to Dallas since this happens, or if he announced any sort of plans to go to Dallas. Because if I'm Obama, I don't go to Dallas. Because I don't think the Dallas police care about the life of any black man. They'll be like, okay, you're the president, but you're still a nigga to us. You're still a nigga to us. And we're going to treat you just like we did Corey. We're going to treat you just like we did Micah. We go, and the thing is that anybody who understands being a black man, anybody who understands anything about black maleness in America, you understand how Corey and Mark and Micah and Barack Obama could easily, before this incident happened, these 3 black men or 4 black men could easily have sat in a room together and understood each other. They could have easily sat in a room together and had a good conversation. They could have easily sat together and gave each other respect. Because I'm going to tell you, if you want to define insanity, if you ask a lot of people, you say, well, was Michael Johnson insane? A lot of people say, absolutely he was insane. Because look at what he did, right? But we don't think it's insane when a soldier goes and kills somebody who has hurt somebody that's on his side, who's killed his fellow soldiers. We don't think that's insane. We think that's heroic, right? So the definition of insanity really is in the eye of the beholder. It all depends on the context. It's just like if I'm a football player and I want to tackle people. If I tackle somebody on the football field, I'll get a trophy for it. But if I tackle somebody on the street, then I'm going to be seen as a lunatic, right? So ultimately, it's the same thing. Now I'm looking at Dwayne says that that something about Monday is confirmed. So is Obama going to, let's see. Okay, so he is going to Dallas. Well, I wouldn't go to Dallas if I was Obama. I wouldn't. I mean, remember, that's where Kennedy got shot up. So the people in Texas do not like President Obama. I really do believe that when Obama comes down to Texas, his life is in jeopardy. And I hope that nothing happens to him. I hope that his security's tight. But we can't presume that a president is always safe wherever he goes. People used to think that back in the 60s, and you saw what happened. So a president can be hurt. So anyway, does anybody have any questions before we get on down here? I'm about to, I'll answer a couple of your questions, and then we can take off. Don't forget, go to drboycewatkins.net and order, get a free e-copy of my book. It's totally free. It's called It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar. I think you guys are going to like it. And it's at drboycewatkins.net. Just sign up and you can don't go to .com, go to .net and you can get the free book. Let's see here. Yeah, I see a lot of people saying, I hope they didn't set him up. Let's see here. Shannon says, follow the money. Let's see here. Okay. So I see a lot of people talking about Obama going to Dallas. Yeah, I agree. Now Harold Penn is asking, hero or villain? I think he's talking about Micah Johnson. How many of y'all listening right now, I want to ask you, how many of y'all think that Micah Johnson is a hero? And I feel free to just be honest about it. If you feel like he's a hero, I want you to say hero. If you feel like he's a villain, I want you to say villain. So I'm literally going to do a quick kind of survey, impromptu survey. Maybe I can even send out a survey to our people on our mailing list. I see Baba says hero. Alshani says hero. Torres says hero. Pam says hero or villain. Renee Munoz says hero. Larry says hero. I'm seeing hero. I have not seen one person clearly state that he's a villain. Wow. Well, I mean, maybe this just speaks to the audience I'm talking to, because I tend to talk to black people who are super black. But and I love y'all for that. I respect y'all for that. You guys are the trendsetters. India says neither. Interesting. Lebo says hero. Shaquala says Micah Johnson's a patsy. Okay, I guess that's villain. Let's throw that in the villain category. I'm looking here, and Bosky says Batman. Okay. Well, I'm gonna laugh because we probably need to laugh because we've been so serious lately. That it's actually kind of funny. Baba says it's time to stop being afraid. Everybody's saying hero. Everybody is saying hero. And so, I mean, if you believe villain, go ahead and say villain somebody, or maybe not villain. Maybe you can say something else that's more descriptive. Maybe I don't know, if a word like, if you think he's a coward, or if you think he's misguided, or I don't know. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of heroes here now. I'll just say at the end of the day, I just have to tell you guys the truth. I got to be careful about how much I say, because I'm sure the feds have watched me since I was Micah's age, since I was 25. I was told that back when I was writing articles at the University of Kentucky, that I was on different police watch lists and stuff like that, because just for being an outspoken black man. I've had situations where I've tried to go to penitentiaries to visit brothers, that were locked away, and I was told I couldn't come to certain penitentiaries because they get to make their own rules. That's where a lot of the abuse happens in the criminal justice system, is not just when the brothers are in the street. It's mostly when they're behind the wall. When they get in prisons, then nobody cares. Nobody's checking for them. So they pretty much abuse them and violate their rights on a regular basis. And so basically, the brother I was trying to visit pretty much just said his counselor was going to let me in, and he Googled me and said, I'm not letting him come. He can't come. And I said, well, wait a minute. Why are you, why can't I come? I don't have a criminal record. I haven't done anything illegal. But it's basically because being an intelligent and conscientious black man pretty much is a crime in this country. Being an intelligent and a conscientious and an aggressive black man will get you locked up or killed. And so what's really interesting, and this is why I ask you guys to always circle around, anybody who takes a stand, myself included, is because it's real out here. People like that get killed. 20, 30 years ago, my chances of death would have been much, much higher because the more impact you have, the more chances that they're going to come get you. And so they could come. It could happen, and I'm okay with that. I take a bullet for my community in a second. I'm totally okay with that. But what I really want is to make sure that, when you see people sort of go through things, when you see a fallen soldier, like say somebody like a Micah who handled it in his way, it's very important that we at least come to our own conclusion without letting media tell us what we're supposed to think, without falling for the kumbaya, we shall overcome mentality, which leads us to forgive anybody who comes into our communities and blows out the brains of our kids. We can't let people just do anything to us and let them think it's okay. We have to, and the thing about it is that sometimes when you stand up for yourself, there's consequences. There's never been a battle in history where a community stood up for itself and they didn't have casualties. Where there was never been a situation where you fought for something where there was not some pain and significant loss. If you do anything in your life that you try to accomplish and you want to grow, you want to get better at something, there's going to be a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort associated with that. There's going to be a loss associated with that. When I tried to get my PhD, I lost a lot in my life. I lost a lot of money. I lost a woman I loved. I lost, I lost a lot of years. But there was something at the end that made it all worthwhile, that made the fight worthwhile. So what I encourage you to do is just think to yourself, just ask yourself, what am I willing to fight for? Is there anything I'm willing to die for outside of my children? Is there something in this world where I say, I'm just part of a lineage, I'm part of something bigger than myself, something that'll be around long after I'm gone, and I'm willing to take a hit for that thing. Just figure out what that thing is, because when the shit really hits the fan and you're really called to the carpet, you need to be ready to go ahead and make a snap decision. So that's why I can tell you, I die for the black community. I mean, for my community, I'll take a bullet in a minute. It's okay. If they came and got me down, in Chicago and just made it look like a drive-by or something like that, I'm okay with that. Of course, I would run, I would fight, I would do whatever I had to do. But if it happened, I wouldn't see the end of Boyce Watkins as the end of everything. I would see the end, maybe the end of my life could be the beginning of something else. It's just like, sometimes something that dies goes into the soil and it grows something big and beautiful. So if I was gone and my death inspired people, a whole generation, to fight in a different way, then why wouldn't I want to make that sacrifice? Why wouldn't I want to do that? So just keep that in mind. Just think about what you're willing to fight for and just be ready to fight for something. So anyway, guys, I'm about to get out of here, and I want to say I love you all, and it was wonderful talking to you. And let's keep hope alive, as Jesse Jackson used to say. And let's just do this the right way. So if you see any information that you think I should have, anything I should know, feel free to email it to me. My email address, you can write it down. It's boyce@boycewatkins.com. That's boyce@boycewatkins.com. You can email me all the time for any reason. When you email me, you'll get an autoresponder that lists my staff members and different parts of the business where you can reach out to people to get your voice heard in certain areas. And I want to be helpful and be supportive in all of this. So RIP to Brother Micah, RIP to Alton Sterling, RIP to Philando Castile. And I'm glad that Mark and Corey Hughes are okay as well. Because I think that their names need to be cleared, and I hope their families are safe. All right, everybody, well, I'm about to take off, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.